I'm Lauren Green, and you're in the Strategy Room. White House hopeful Hillary Clinton is stumbling in the polls in Iowa and New Hampshire, but her supporters say she'll run the table in southern primary states based on her huge support among black Democratic voters. But is that really the case? Here with reaction are political strategists Jessica Tarlov and Lee Carter. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Okay, so the latest Quinnipiac poll puts Bernie Sanders ahead of Clinton among Iowa voters at 41%. Jessica, what do you make of this?
Well, 41 to 40. She's only a point behind. Yeah, we just left that out. It was a statistical tie, but there is no question he is gaining, and the authenticity vote, as it were, is gaining. We were talking about this earlier. You know, that's the Joe Biden appeal. If anything, I mean, he seems quite emotionally unstable at the moment to me, you know, and it seems also clear that Jill Biden is holding the cards here, and she took on a full course load to teach, which kind of indicates that the Biden White House run is not as imminent as some in the Biden run camp might think.
Sure.
But Hillary's slipping. You know, the number one word associated with her now is liar. Her apology was half-assed as best. I mean, it's a tough road ahead.
Well, Lee, will she be able to overcome some of those issues she's facing in Iowa, New Hampshire, you know, with Bernie heels really kind of, not Bernie Sanders on her heels, not really on her heels, that she's on his heels?
You know what I really think? I think unless she's really ready to come out, to really own herself, to be authentic and genuinely who she is rather than who everybody thinks she should be. She's getting so much advice. She's so calculated. She's leaving everybody at arm's length. And I think people are saying, I don't trust you. And the more fodder that goes into that, the less that people are going to be attracted to her. And so I think it's a real problem. And unless she figures out how to overcome it, I think it's going to be a slide.
I think that's totally true, and I just wanted to add that I think where her campaign is really stumbling is actually in the policy front. I mean, we don't know. A lot of people have no idea what a Clinton presidency stands for, what it would be all about. She says, you know, she wants to be a champion for the middle class. What does that explicitly mean?
Do you really think it's a personality, a policy issue, or is it more of a personality issue?
It's both, but I think to overcome personality issues, I mean, she's always been wooden in public. I mean, this has been an issue since the 90s. People have been coming after her about this. So I think that what I'm trying to articulate is that I think she can overcome a lot of the personality gap with policies that Americans are interested in.
Let's get to the black voters, because a Gallup poll conducted last month shows Clinton with a strong support from black voters. I think it's like 80% there, which is basically the Democratic Party is the default party for the African American community, and that's kind of a given. But do you think, you know, her Democratic rivals can actually catch up to her?
I don't think so, actually. I mean, if we looked at just even the two run-ins with the Black Lives Matter movement that happened, Bernie Sanders had it, Hillary had it. Sanders got out of the way, right? He got off stage and they kind of took over his event. Hillary Clinton said, I've spoken out about criminal justice reform. I want to help you. I understand your needs and concerns, but you need to articulate to me explicitly what it is that your agenda is so that I can help you. And I think that that was a really powerful thing to do. And I mean, they wouldn't come out, they're not going to endorse anyway. It seems like now, I know Debbie Westerman Schultz has been trying to negotiate something like that. But I think that this is a voting bloc that is going to stick with Clinton. It may not stay at 80, though. You know, all these things can slip 5-10 points, and that could be an election.
Well, Lee, how much of Clinton's support by, you know, the black community is sort of a nod to Bill Clinton? Because he was, you know...
I think it could be part of it, but I think that she shows an openness and a genuine interest there, and that openness is really appealing to people when she shows it. And so I think if she were to show that openness and the ability to listen with more folks, she'd have more of an appeal. But there's no question that there's a Clinton appeal that has a halo with Bill.
I mean, could it be that easy? I mean, does she realize, if, you know, is there a candidate that actually can chisel off enough of that black votership to actually make a difference
on the Democratic side? I mean, Joe Biden, I think, is the only person that possibly could, and there's talk about him. It's interesting now for the Clinton camp or Clinton supporters to say, oh, if she even loses New Hampshire and Iowa, she'll get the South, because there was talk about Biden not jumping in until the South. And if there's anyone more closely linked with Obama, you know, it's Biden. And they like him, besides, you know, a few, you know, the chains comment he made. But I mean, Joe Biden says ridiculous things all the time. I think the real key here is there a Republican alternative? And truthfully, Rick Perry, who's now not in the race anymore, was the only one speaking explicitly to the black experience in this country and talking about systemic poverty and these issues. So I don't see the GOP picking up steam there, so they're going to stick Democrat.
Yeah, the Democratic Party really doesn't have to worry about that, taking any of the black American voters off their polls.
I think they might some. I mean, depending on who the candidates and a few, but I don't think that it's a big risk.
All right, I want to thank you very much, Jessica and Lee, for joining us.